3.
Alrighty, we are already set up for our next run, and that's going to be Driver 2, Complete Chicago with Viper. So, Viper, take it away.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, welcome everybody to Driver 2, You Are the Wheelman, also known as Driver 2, The Wheelman is Back in the United States. Why the difference in change for the title, I have no idea. There's a few other ones, there's like Back on the Street, so this is The Wheelman is Back and so on. Anyway, this is the Complete Chicago category, and we'll get straight into it, and I'll explain a little bit to and from as we go. So if we're ready on time, I'll get started straight away. So count it down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so to give a little explanation of how this category works. So normally Chicago is the first city within Driver 2. And normally there's 8 missions that you have to do in the entirety of Chicago. However, there's a bit of a twist with this one. So recently there was a piece of tech that was discovered. And what this tech allows us to do is to complete this in less than half the time it normally takes. So this is our partner Tobias Jones on the other end of the phone call. He's basically telling us we need to go and get to our witness, who's jumpy as you can hear. And we basically need to put our foot down and get there as fast as possible. So this is the first driver game that included on-foot sections. And immediately we're going to get to Jones and see what this witness knows. Now, as I said at the start, we don't normally when you do Complete Chicago, you do the first 8 missions of the game. However, there's a slight difference with this one. So, on the category that we're doing at the moment, we're actually going to do 3 missions, and this actually involves us going to another city. So you're like, right, how does that work? So basically, the first mission of the game you complete as normal. However, when you get to the end, as soon as you get the text that says, well done, Jones is still with him, that sort of thing, then you have to quit, go back to the main menu, and then this is where the trick starts. So it's a very simple trick, and it's very easy to perform, and you can try it yourself if you have this game. And basically what you do is you press X and down at the same time, so simultaneously. And what this will do is this will select Chicago, but will have the picture of Havana. And basically what this is going to do is it will show 4 missions, which it shouldn't actually be allowed to do, but it will show 4 missions. You select the first one, and that actually takes you ahead of Chicago to Havana. So essentially, we skip Chicago and go straight to Havana. However, by doing the first mission, it unlocks all of the missions for Chicago. So basically, we'll do the first mission in Havana, and then the last mission in, as you can see there, I've got that one, which is good stuff. So we'll do that, we've done that mission, we go back to here, we then go on replay mission. Now what we have to do is press X and down at the same time. This screen then shows, then you press X on that, you'll see how it says surveillance tip-off, auto-testing. So what this has now done is this has now skipped the entirety of Chicago and sent us to Havana. So you're like, wait a minute, this is called Complete Chicago, not Havana. This is the idea of this, the warping thing. So by using this menu trick, we're able to skip ahead of a city, move to the next one, do this first mission, and then when this mission's done and we quit out of it, it unlocked all of the missions for Chicago. To which point we do the last mission, and that's it. That's the category done. So yeah, it's quite a good one. So this one's mainly about following this Brazilian. Now bear in mind, at this point you should not be able to be on this mission, not even this early. And a big shout out goes to Coops, I think he's called, or Coopers, for finding this. He found it literally, I think, before Christmas last year. And honestly, when he told me about how it worked, I was like, wait, this works? So for Complete Chicago, this is basically how you do it. So like, so you do first mission in Chicago, you then do the last mission, the first mission in Havana, and then you do the last mission in Chicago. Now, believe it or not, the any percent for this game has come down quite a bit. So we're just waiting for the card to come out. From behind, here he comes. So we're going to actually want to go this way here. So we're now ahead of the guy. We want to make sure that we try and keep ahead of him without getting spotted. So his proximity arrow, for some odd reason, his car decides to go really fast here. So I'm going to get away from him a little bit.
Squeeze up.
You'll see in a minute. There you go. So he's going to come straight at us, full pelt. As you can see, we're going to try and keep ahead of him. Now, there is one thing that can happen here, is we can actually either get him to follow us or he'll turn left. Now, if he turns left, I will stop and turn around. If he doesn't, and keeps on going straight, there we go. That's kind of what I meant. So this is the reason why, is because he could be we can actually get ahead of him and stay ahead of him, or he'll do that. So again, I'm just going to play it safe for the time being.
Hang back.
And make sure I don't get too close. So the proximity bar at the top, you'll notice that the O, where the middle of the O is for the proximity, that's the ideal target distance you want. And that's actually the mission done. So what we're going to do now is, as soon as it get the text that shows up saying, well done, you've followed him, or whatever it says, we'll quit out and go back to that same menu. So there's a lot about menuing, really, which is quite nice.
Well, if you don't mind me cutting in, I've got I got a quick donation for you, Viper.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, we have $5 from Ulvind that says Bulbasaur needs some love, and good luck to Viper for his run.
Thank you very much, Olvin. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, I know what you're thinking. Well, how come Chicago takes this long normally? Why is it, like, how come it takes like 22 minutes or 23 minutes? I think it is, roughly. The reason being is because normally Chicago takes around that long because we're doing Golden Missions legit. But as you can see, thanks to this unique menu trick, it means that we can complete this a lot faster. Also, one thing to mention as well, and again, it's a very short amount of time to do this run, so I might not be able to explain fully everything. And I might have to go into some of the time afterwards, just to explain a little bit more. So, this game's always had a bad reputation for its frame rate issues. So you'll notice that when we've been playing missions, we've been in this first person, this bumper mode. This is quite convenient, as what it allows us to do is it allows us to look to the side and spawn less on screen. And what this does is this frees up the frame rate. Now this was coincidental that it was also a thing in Driver 1. Now thankfully after Driver 2 they actually managed to fix the frame rate a little bit, so it was a lot better. So this is the main reason why you see us looking to our left and to our right like that, just to keep the frame rate as smooth as possible. So you'll notice like the frame rate is pretty solid, and then just isn't solid on another one. So yeah, that's pretty much why we do that. Now there'll be times where I have to look forwards because I ideally want to see where I'm going. But for the most part, like I said, it's fairly straightforward, this category, and the game itself is a bit tricky, I will say that. Just for context as well, how game-breaking this menu bug actually is. So the record on console right now is 2 hours 21 minutes. I can't remember how many seconds, but it's like 2 hours 21 minutes. And that's actually set by myself. So that's like completing all of the missions, every single mission in the game. And also on emulator as well, I also hold the record. But the console one's where it's mainly at for now. However, thanks to the menu trick, which you can obviously see for yourself, and you've seen me do a little bit over this run, you're able to actually finish this game in a little under 30 minutes. So it knocks like 2 hours off the time to complete this game, which is absolutely crazy. And again, big shout outs goes to Coopers for finding this, because without him, this game would not be as quick as it is. So this, like I said, there's a few things to mention though. This category has actually become a lot easier, and for people that don't know how it works, again, let me just reiterate how the whole menu trick works. So ideally, well not ideally, what happens is you do the first mission of this game, which is called Surveillance Tip-Off. That's in Chicago. And then when you get to the very end and you get in Jones's car, you then exit back to the main menu and then go on to replay mission. Once you go on to replay mission, you've then got something else as well, which is you press X and down at the same time simultaneously. So you'll have selected Chicago, but there'll be a set of 4 missions, which is pretty amazing. And also, time's going to be coming up pretty soon, so get ready on time. I'll let you know when it is. This might be sub 10 actually. And time.
9:50 is the
wow.
time that I had.
Nice. Yeah, just short of 950 for myself. And that's it. That's literally the category. As I said, it's a very short and very simple category, and it's all down to a guy called Coops for finding it. So props to him for finding this. The other thing is as well is that because of this menu thing, in my honest opinion, this makes this game a little bit easier for those that either have never played it before and want to give it a try or give something new a try, or do remember the game being very hard and now it's not as difficult. So for those that struggled, it's quite remarkable at how big of a time save and a half this menu thing is. But again, it's a very, very short run. I honestly didn't expect to get under 10 minutes. I thought it might be a little over 10 and a half, but there you go. And the other thing as well is if you do want to do a run of this game, you can run PAL or NTSC, but just know that the NTSC version, which is obviously the North American version of the game, is the quicker version of the game. So if you're in the States, you have this game, and you can have a 75 or 90k PlayStation 2 with fast disk speed enabled. That will obviously help as well, because that will improve load times. And put that whole package together, and you've got yourself a console and the game that you can run like that. Again, let me just reiterate something. This glitch would have not been possible without a guy called Coop, so all props goes to him, not me, him. So that's pretty much the run. Again, I could probably just give a quick shout out to Coops again for, I know I've said his name like 8 times at this point, but again to him for finding this out, and to the Driver Madness Discord, who are a great bunch of guys, and obviously the Driver Speedrunning Discord as well. There is a new driver game out at the current moment, and it's called Driver Syndicate. Would highly recommend searching it and looking it up. Basically, that game has been built from scratch by one of the driver community members. So he's built the engine and built everything else, and the community has all piled everything into it. It's still in like a beta stage, and there's no money for it. And the other thing to mention as well is it's been brought up, so it's like the first 2 driver games. You don't have to get out of your car mechanic, but it's there. And the original sound producer, so the original music producer, called Alistair Brimble. He's wrote music for many, many video games over the past 2 or 3 decades. His most notable ones being Driver and Colin McRae Rally and stuff like that on Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. But he's done so much music for so many games, and Driver was one of his main standout ones. He's actually reprised his role as the music guy for Driver Syndicate. So this community project even has the original music producer, the guy who created the music for the game. So feel free to give that a look up. Again, there is links to the Driver Discord on all of the Driver web pages on speedrun.com, and if you look up Driver Madness on Google, you'll be able to join the Discord server there. It is a massive community. It must be at least 1,000 people in that community, which is insane, really. Yeah, all that's left for me to say is thank you very much to Midwest Speedfest again for having me. I do apologise, it was a very short run. But thank you again very much for having me, and enjoy the next run.